Hello, my friends. We are back with Battlegrounds Season 10 reveals. We just got the news that on the 29th of April, we're getting our brand new Battlegrounds season. Anomalies are leaving, trinkets are coming back. We have a lot to talk about. Let's go. While this is our reveal video for Neutral and Elemental today, just want to recap some things from the blog post. As I mentioned, trinkets are coming back, which means anomalies are leaving on April 29th. I'm super excited about this. Trinkets have been my favorite game mechanic so far. We also, in the blog post, got a preview of some new trinkets and some new minions that feature something we've not seen in Battlegrounds yet, and that's spell buffs. There are minions and trinkets that offer additional stats on top of the stats that a spell offers. In addition, we are also getting two new heroes. The first one is Forest Lord Cenarius with the Wisdom of the Ancients. This is a 3 gold hero power. Increase your maximum gold by 1. There's going to have to be a really good balance of pushing that button, or you will have so much gold and just die rich. Our other new hero is Buttons. Buttons' hero power is called Growing Collection, and this is very similar to Marin. It's a passive on turn 8. Choose a greater trinket to buy. Especially with some of the trinkets we are about to talk about over the next couple days of reveals, this is going to be very interesting for Buttons. One last little important thing from the blog post is that they did make some improvements to more frequently get trinkets of your minion type. I will link the blog post in the description below if you'd like to read it yourself. But we should move on. Let's talk about our neutral minion and spell changes. Let's start with neutral minions that are leaving. 3 out of the 4 are on tier 4. We have Winged Chimera, Menagerie Jug, and Mithrax the Unraveler. I guess I shouldn't necessarily have called this neutral minions leaving because Winged Chimera is all-type, and our last minion leaving is also the all-typed Tier 6 1 Amalgam Tour group. We also have the following spells leaving as well. On Tier 1, the Alliance Flag, Tier 2, Lantern Light, Tier 3, Echoing Roar, Tier 3, Catch in duos, and Tier 6, Fandrel's Fortune. In terms of changed and returning neutral minions, we actually only have 1 minion changing and nothing returning. Nala, the Redeemer, is going down to Tier 5, is a 5/6. Whenever you cast a Tavern spell, give a friendly minion of each type +2/+1. So it's losing 1/1 and it's moving down a tier. We also have a ton of changes for spells, and I feel like this is for very obvious reasons of our new spell buffs. On tier 1, the Pointy Arrow is coming back for 1 gold, give a minion +4 attack. Shiny Ring is moving up to tier 3 and 2 gold, give your minions +1/+1. Also on tier 3, Staff of Enrichment is 1 gold. Minions in the tavern have +1/+1 this game. Our last tier 3 spell, Time Management, moving down to tier 3, 4 gold, choose 1, give your minions +2/+2, or at the start of your next turn, give your minions +2/+2 twice. That's actually pretty sick because it's the same number twice, meaning if you do start buffing those spells, that's going to be way more impactful than a +4/+4 with those additional stats. On tier 4, the Defender's Rights is 2 gold, give a friendly minion +6/+6 and taunt. Also on tier 4, Natural Blessing, 4 gold, choose a minion, give all minions that share a type with it +2/+2. So we're seeing some pretty small nerfs here and there, -1, -2, but I do think it'll matter. Moving up to tier 5, we have Hired Headhunter. This is 3 gold, discover a Battlecry minion. Last but not least, on tier 5, this is going all the way up to tier 5, this is Forest's Bounty, 3 gold, choose 1, give a minion +12/+12, or give your minions +2/+2. That got a buff. Moving on to our new neutral minions. If you did read the blog post, some of these might look familiar. On tier 2, we have the Intrepid Botanist. This is a 3/4, choose 1. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1 attack this game or +1 health. On tier 4, we have Humongous. This is a 5/5 Divine Shield. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1/+2. Since this minion doesn't have a keyword outside of Divine Shield, I'm going to assume that this is an aura buff, so as long as you have one on your board, it'll have that effect. Also on tier 4, we have the Tauren Spirit Walker. This is a 6/5. You cast 1 spell each turn twice. So hypothetically, if you're playing these spell buffs and you have the Spirit Walker, You could get a lot of stats really quickly with that. Our next new minion on tier 5, this is the Vorkai Guardian. A 4/5, start of combat, if you have no minions with Divine Shield, give adjacent minions Divine Shield. This seems like a nice way to shield the important minions in a combat like a Rivendare. Or on the flip side, maybe you want to shield your first minion that just so happens to have your most attack and health to keep it safe. I do like this as like a tech pickup though. You know, it's on tier 5 where a lot of the other tech lives. And it could be very useful. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Our last new minion, this is our tier 6 Nightmare Party Guest. This is a 6/6 Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Get a misplaced tea set. This is our tier 4 Tavern spell. Give a friendly minion of each type +3/+3. So we've had a lot of different iterations of like a menagerie minion on tier 6, right? We've had like Theotar, we've had Nala. Well, I guess that's about it. Well, yeah. One Amalgam Tour Group, kind of. Lightfang was on tier 5. I really like this as like an accessory to a Nala build, especially with Nala being on tier 5 now. You can run a menagerie, you can buff your spells, and then that misplaced tea set not only gives you your Nala buffs, but also whatever like spell buffs you've gotten so far. And it's a Battle Cry and a Death Rattle, so you can keep it on your board. When I was first getting this video ready, I was like, man, this looks okay. But I actually think this could be pretty fun. A party menagerie. We do have a new tier 5 spell, only one new spell. This is our High Tea Service. Speaking of tea, this is a 3 gold. Refresh the tavern with tier 5 cards, notably cards, not minions. So it could be spells as well. It is also a tier 5 spell itself. So hopefully it doesn't like meme and just give you even more high tea service. But there are a lot of important minions that live on tier 5 that are pretty comp defining. So could be a pretty useful spell. Okay, it is time for our neutral trinkets. Oh my goodness. I am going to attempt to be very quick with the lesser changed and returning neutrals because there are so many of them. Okay, here we go. Oh shoot, I forgot to sort this sheet. We're gonna start with our least expensive. For 0 gold, we have the Azeroth model globe. At the start of every 2 turns, discover a tier 6 minion. Also for 0 gold, we have Bobblehead. Gain 2 gold. The tavern no longer offers cards from tier 1 or tier 2. Next is our Toki cosplay, or the 1 gold Innkeeper Stein. The tavern offers an extra minion of a higher tier whenever it's refreshed. Can't really call it a Toki cosplay because Toki only gets that once a turn. Also for 1 gold, we have Goldenizer Supply. At the end of every 3 turns, get a Goldenizer. Last 1 gold is Souvenir Stand. When you buy a greater trinket, this transforms into a copy of it. For 2 gold, oh my gosh, so much is 2 gold. We have Token of the Old Gods, Spellcraft, choose a minion, then choose a minion from a higher tier to transform it into. It's our Galakron cosplay. Also for 2 gold, Book of Medivh, discover a tavern spell. At the start of each turn, discover another. For 2 gold, Colorful Compass, get a random some minion type here. At the start of each turn, get another. Next up is Bartendotron's Oil Can. Reduce the cost of upgrading the tavern by 3. At the start of each turn, repeat this. After that is Goblin Wallet for 2 gold. At the end of each turn, increase your maximum gold by 1. One of my favorites for 2 gold, this is Trip Vouchers. In 2 turns, choose a greater trinket to buy and replace this. You can be offered Trip Vouchers as buttons, which means that you could have a lesser trinket that turns into a greater trinket on the same turn that you use your hero power to buy a greater trinket, which could be kind of funny money-wise. And then another greater trinket the following turn. That's a lot. I hope that happens. I want to try that. Our last 2 gold, this is the Eye of Dalaran. Whenever a friendly minion with no type dies, get a random tavern spell. This actually may be slightly beneficial with the new spell stuff. Like, you don't necessarily need typed minions more now than last trinket season. I'm putting a lot of value in these spell buffs, but I do think they're going to stack pretty heavily if you attempt to do so. For 3 gold, we have Ticket a Sticker. Discover a tier 3 Dark Moon prize at the start of every 3 turns. Repeat this. For 4 gold, we have the Mystery Cube. Choose from 2 lesser trinkets to replace this for free. At the start of each turn, repeat this. I love the cube. Some would say it's my indecision. They would be correct. For 5 gold, we have Reflective Pendant. Get a plain copy of a random friendly minion. At the start of each turn, repeat this. For our last lesser changed returning trinket, for 5 gold, we have Yogg-tastic Pastry. Spin the wheel of Yogg-Saron. At the start of each turn, spin it again. I always love a little RNG from Yogg. Time for our new lesser trinkets. 0 gold, this is Ornate Clock. Buy your greater trinket next turn instead of turn 9. Well, that's nice. You're basically foregoing your lesser trinket for a greater trinket 2 turns earlier, which could backfire if you don't find a good greater trinket. However, it's no cost. Some of those greater trinkets are pretty game defining. Depending on what my other options are, I might risk this. I might risk it more than I wouldn't. Also for 0 gold, we have Worn Treasure Map. In 2 turns, gain 10 gold. This only happens once per game. Well, that is a spike turn if I've ever seen one. You can be greedy with it and try to double level. You can get a bunch of really solid minions on your board even after a level, and it costs 0. For 1 gold, we have Selfless Portrait. Get a Selfless Hero. Your Selfless Heroes also trigger on Battle Cry. So you play a Selfless Hero, and you can just get a Divine Shield. This is almost like when Naga are in and you cycle Glow Scales to just get a little shield on some important minions going into a combat, but instead you could just cycle Selfless Heroes. For 2 gold, we have Eclectic Shrine. Start of combat, give a friendly minion of each type +2/+2, improve this permanently. It feels like if you would really like to play Menagerie, this is a nice way to start. It's a little bit of like Wag Toggle, but much, much better. For 2 gold, we have Innkeeper's Hearth. Discover a minion of your tier, set its stats to 10/10. On turn 6, that's 8 gold. You're likely on tier 3. You could be on tier 4. This could be good. Also for 2 gold, we have Heart of the Forest. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1/+1. So this is a buff to your tavern spells that exists in a trinket. Also for 2 gold, we have the Sacrificial Altar. Remove all your minions, gain 3 gold for each removed. Well, this is basically like having a whole board of gamblers. You do have to pay 2 gold for this, but definitely a lot of money. For me, between Sacrificial Altar and we talked earlier about Worn Treasure Map where you gain 10 gold in 2 turns, I'd probably choose a Sacrificial Altar. For 3 gold, we have the Horn of Summoning. This is feeling very instant warband anomaly. It's get 6 different tier 1 minions. But hey, if you're playing like Maiev and you are collecting a bunch of tier 1s and playing like a Rafam curve where you stay on tier 1 and you keep hero powering and buying, there's a chance that that could get a bunch of triples for you. Also, for 3 gold, we have the Shrine of Evolution. Transform all your minions into random tier 3 minions. Same energy as I don't like my minions. Let's see what happens. For the RNG, I would do it. For 3 gold as well, we have Explorer's Binoculars. Get 2 random tier 4 minions. It is only 3 gold for 2 minions, which is nice, but this feels risky. There are a whole lot of tier 4 minions and 2 random ones. I mean, it could work out really well. For 4 gold, we have Portable Factory. Discover a tier 3 minion with a type. At the start of each turn, get another copy of it. So in 3 turns, you have a triple of whatever tier 3 minion you choose. This would be great if you end up liking the tier 3 minion or have any use for it at all. Or at the very least, again, it's a triple in 3 turns, so you can just keep it in your hand. Also for 4 gold, we have Marvelous Mushroom. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1 health. At the start of each turn, improve this. Well, that's nice. Tavern spell buffs. We were talking about Heart of the Forest, and this is only health, but I do like this. Our last new lesser trinket for 4 gold, this is the Rendell sticker. Steal the highest tier card from the tavern. At the end of each turn, repeat this. I really loved playing Rendell. Like, I really loved Rendell. So I'm pretty happy to see this. Also, it is highest tier card. It's not minion, so you could end up getting spells. This is cute. Let's move on to greater trinkets. We'll start with our changed and returning. For 0 gold, we have Bob's Tip Jar. Gain 4 gold, increase your maximum gold by 4. For 1 gold, it's Manipulator Portrait. Get a Faceless Manipulator. 2 gold gives you Colorful Compass. Get 2 random, insert minion type here. At the start of each turn, get 2 more. Also 2 gold is Peace Bloom Candle. The first 2 tavern spells you buy each turn are free. For 3 gold, we have Redeemer Portrait. I'm happy this one's back. Get Anala the Redeemer. The tavern spells cost 1 less, but not less than 1. It was so wonderfully broken when they could cost less than 1, but I understand. 4 gold gives you Book of Medivh. Discover 2 tavern spells. At the start of each turn, discover 2 more. 5 gold. Karazhan chess set is back. Start of combat. Summon a copy of your leftmost minion. Another one that I enjoy is back. This is for 5 gold. We have Pagel's Fishing Rod. Get a random tier 7 minion. At the start of each turn, get another. Our last changed returning is For 6 gold, Iron Forge Anvil. This is start of combat, triple the stats of your minions with no type. If you ever played this with Souvenir Stand where you got a copy of it, it tripled the triple and got really insane. Big fan of that one. We are moving on now to our new greater trinkets. 1 gold gives you the Curator sticker. Get a Mishmash and a 2/2 amalgam with Venomous. So this is basically like you are playing Curator and you just got your buddy. That's fun. For 2 gold is Theotar sticker. After you play a minion with no type, give a friendly minion of each type, +5/+5. That's a lot of stats. I don't know how much you'll be cycling minions with no type. I'm excited to see this one in play. For 2 gold, we have gold-plated compass. Make the next, insert minion type here, you buy golden. This could be useful either just to give you a discover, because you do get to buy that minion and then you get to play it, or it could be useful to help you progress your comp by actually goldening an important minion to your comp. Tripling a minion for 2 gold feels pretty good. 3 gold gives you Wizard's Pipe. Whenever you cast a tavern spell, give your minions with no type +6/+6. 3 gold gives you Lavish Cape. You cast a random tavern spell for each different friendly minion type. At the start of each turn, repeat this. There are so many things that specifically support a menagerie build here. Big fan. Also, 3 gold gives you Innkeeper's Hearth, but the greater version. Discover a tier 6 minion, set its stats to 20/20. Worst case, you really need some stats on your board and this can give you that. Best case, you get a valuable tier 6 minion. I am excited about this one. For 3 gold, we have Ghastly sticker. Your end of turn effects trigger an extra time, the same way that Drakari stacks with Ghastly Mask, Ghastly sticker. Next is a greater version of Heart of the Forest for 3 gold. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +2/+2. Another greater version of a new lesser, this is the Portable Factory. 4 gold. Discover a tier 5 minion with a type. At the start of each turn, get another copy of it. Tier 5 minions are a lot more board defining, and it is with a type, so it can't be like a Bran or a Rivendare or a Drakari or anything that I really love. But there are plenty of really good minions on tier 5 that have a type. I would absolutely play this. We have 2 new greater trinkets left, both 5 gold. The first one is Guiding Candle. Your first 2 refreshes each turn contain only tier 6 cards. I am so happy that one Amalgam Tour group is gone. It is cards, not minions, so it could have other tier 6 spells like Staff of Hamul or other things that are useful. Our last new greater trinket, also 5 gold as I mentioned, is the Empowerment Portrait. Get an Azurite Empowerment. At the start of each turn, get another. That is that spell that gives your board +4/+4. So assuming at this point that you have had enough spell buffs, this could be super useful. And getting a guaranteed spell every turn that you know is going to buff your board, that could be great. We are almost done with our neutrals. I just want to touch on our duos trinkets very quickly. For our lesser duos trinkets, 3 gold gives you Empowered Mirror. Become a copy of your teammate's lesser trinket. 4 gold is Common Thread. Pass a copy of the first card you buy each turn. Also 4 gold, Summoning Sphere. Start of combat, summon a copy of your teammate's highest health minion. Next is Bottle Sticker. Also 4 gold. Get a portal in a bottle. At the start of each turn, get another. And last lesser duos trinket is the Orchestra Portrait for 5 gold. Get an Orchestra Conductor. At the start of each turn, get another. Orchestra Conductor can stack quickly. As for our greater trinkets for duos, for 3 gold is Magic Road Sign. After you sell your first minion each turn, pass it. Also 3 gold is the greater version of Empowered Mirror. Become a copy of your teammate's greater trinket. 5 gold is Cho'Gall Sticker. Whenever your team plays a golden minion, both you and your teammate get a triple reward. That's pretty sick. And for a whole 10 gold is Move Out Box. Skip this turn. At the end of it, replace your warband with a copy of your teammates. Okay, that was everything for neutral. It was so much. Now it's time for Elemental. Elementals are getting a sizable change in how they're about to buff. Some very important minions are leaving. Our first 2 minions leaving are the Fireballer and the Snowballer. So since they're leaving, as I'm sure you can expect for 4 gold on tier 4, Temperature Shift, our spell, is also leaving. Following suit is the Shellelemental, Elemental Naga on tier 4. Leaving as well is Icaron, the Protector, and leaving us one more time, yet again, is Tier 4, Nomi. On Tier 5, heading out is the Twilight Primordium. And on Tier 6, the Nether Construct, which is that elemental demon, is leaving, as well as the Ultraviolet Ascendant. So as I mentioned, some pretty important ways of scaling elemental are no longer with us. But before we get into what's new, we have a couple things changing and some things returning. The following minions are changing in their wording, but are not changing in what they do. We'll talk about why when we start talking about the new things. On tier 1, the Dune Dweller, on tier 3, the Felemental, and on tier 5, the Dancing Barnstormer are all getting a slight reword. They all say give elementals now, but they still do the same thing that they used to. Okay, we'll circle back to that. Returning on tier 2 is the Crackling Cyclone. This was our Divine Shield Wind Fury. It's a 5/1. Also coming back is the cutest tier 3 Landlubber. This is our Elemental Pirate 4/5. The Tavern offers an extra tavern spell after each refresh. The best boy. We have some changes now. Moving up to tier 4 is Meteorite Crasher. Is now a 4/6. After you sell an elemental, gain +2/+2. Also moving up to tier 4 is Refreshing Anomaly. It still gives 2 refreshes that cost 0, still a battle cry, but just up a tavern tier. Moving way up to tier 5 is Technical Element, now a 10/10. Still magnetized to elemental and mech. And our tier 7 is actually getting a nerf. This is our Arcane Behemoth. And after you sell an elemental, gain half its stats. I think that's a worthy nerf. So now we're gonna start talking about our new elementals, and that reword will make a little more sense. On tier 3, we have the Sand Swirler, 4/3 elemental. Battle Cry, your elementals that give stats grant an extra +1 health this game. Similarly, on tier 4 is the Glowing Cinder, 4/2 elemental with a death rattle. Your elementals that give stats grant an extra +1 attack this game. So between the Sand Swirler and the Glowing Cinder, it does appear that there is no need for Nomi because the elementals are buffing themselves. Like looking at the next minion, this is our tier 4 Blazing Greasefire. It's a 6/4 elemental. At the end of your turn, give elementals in the tavern +3/+2 this game. So between the Greasefire and then our change in wording of the Dune Dweller and the Felemental and the Barnstormer, those elementals all give stats. So Sand Swirler and Glowing Cinder are going to allow them to give extra stats. That's pretty interesting. On tier 5 is Lokolar Frostforger. This is a 7/5 elemental. At the end of your turn, give your other minions +2/+2. Notably minions, not elementals. And the golden version gives +2/+2 twice. So it is an elemental. It does give stats, which means it is going to get impacted by giving even more stats. And as we talked about with the time management spell and neutral spells, since it's giving twice, that is way more beneficial than the golden version giving +4/+4. Our next new minion, on tier 6, we have Amplifying Lightspawn. This is a 5/9 elemental. At the end of your turn, your elementals that give stats grant an extra +1/+1 this game. Well, it does seem that the 2 minions that we just talked about have some good synergy together. And our last new minion, this is our tier 6 Unleashed Mana Surge, 6/4 elemental. After you play an elemental, give 3 random friendly elementals other than it +1/+1. And it gives those stats. So if you've been buffing how much elementals give, it could give a whole lot more than +1/+1. Oh, before I forget, we do have a new tier 4 spell. It's called Align the Elements. 2 gold, elementals in the tavern, have +3/+3 this game. Let's move on to trinkets. We're starting with our lesser, changed, and returning trinkets. For 1 gold is the Dalaran Cheese Wheel. Minions in the tavern have +1/+1 upgrades every 4 times you refresh. For 2 gold is Kodo Leather Pouch. After you buy a card, give 2 random friendly minions +2/+1. Next, for 2 gold, we have some Nomi Whiplash. We said goodbye, but now Nomi Sticker is here. After you play an elemental, elementals in the tavern have +2/+2 this game. And our last changed and returning is our 2 gold Primordial Terrarium. After you play an elemental, your next tavern spell costs 1 less. Without the Azurite, that tier 4 minion that gave elementals stats with playing spells, I'm curious how well this will fit in, but I'm sure it will. We have some new lesser trinkets. For 0 gold is the Celemental Portrait. Get a Celemental. At the start of each turn, get another. We love a triple Celemental because if you have 4 Celementals, you have 2 triples. And if you are playing anything that benefits from playing or cycling elementals, this is great, and it's 0 gold. If nothing else, if you end up not playing elementals, it's still 2 gold. Every turn. I really like that, especially at 0 gold. Next, for 1 gold is Fountain Pen. Your elementals that give stats grant an extra +1/+1. For 3 gold is the Felemental Portrait. Your Felementals also trigger on death rattle. I love this because I love playing Felemental, and then I look and I see there's no battle cry retriggers. Rylak and Young Murkai aren't in. And then I'm like, well, this is sad. But now Fellemental also triggers on a death rattle, and I love it so much. I am going to play that Trinket so much if I can. For 6 gold, that's expensive, we have Windfall Portrait. At the end of each turn, get a Windfall Tornado and give it +1/+1. Improved by each minion you've sold this turn. Okay, but like correctly expensive though. That is some scaling. That's a minion to cycle. It's an end of turn effect. I love that one. We are on to our greater trinkets, beginning with changed and returning. For 2 gold is Kodo Leather Pouch, the greater version. After you buy a card, give 2 random friendly minions +4/+4. Also 2 gold is Nomi Sticker. After you play an elemental, elementals in the tavern have +4/+4 this game. 4 gold gives you Surprise Portrait. Get an elemental of surprise. More appear when you least expect them. That one is always fun. For 5 gold, we have the greater version of the Dalaran Cheese Wheel. Minions in the tavern have +2/+2, upgrades every 4 times you refresh. Time for our new greater elemental trinkets. Where the lesser version of this was 6 gold, the greater version is 1 gold of the Windfall Portrait. At the end of each turn, get a Windfall Tornado and give it +2/+2, improved by each minion you sold this turn. That is a 5 gold difference and actually very surprising. I had to double check my notes. I was like, is this actually the cost? And it is. It's only 1 gold as a greater. I must be missing something because that feels really good. That feels so good, like broken good. At that point in the game, I imagine you're really cycling. We will have to see. Next for 2 gold is the greater version of Fountain Pen. Your elementals that give stats grant an extra +2/+2. Following that, for 3 gold is Recycling Sticker. After you play an elemental, your next refresh costs 1 less. Well, that is nice. And I do like that it's costs 1 less instead of cost 0 because Millhouse would have a field day. This is really good. Definitely worth 3 gold. 4 gold gives you Drakari Portrait. Get a Drakari Enchanter. Your Drakari enchanters are both mech and elemental. I love this. I love this so much. There's so much good end of turn for Drakari. This is so good. And our last new greater trinket is the Behemoth Portrait for 4 gold. Get an Arcane Behemoth. Based on the amount of stats we are seeing with elementals, I am so very happy it is half the stats now. If the Arcane Behemoth was what it currently is, it would get really insane. All right, my friends, that was everything for our neutral and elemental reveals. Let me know what you're excited about in the comments. Tomorrow, we will be right back here with Mech, Dragon, and Demon. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.